Good Monday makers and good morning. Hope everybody's having a wonderful morning out there wherever you are. It's a nice day here in South Carolina, and I hope it is wherever you are too. Today we're doing another build roundup live. If you don't know, we've been doing Maker Pipe Mondays every Monday for the last, 109 weeks or something like that. And lately we've been doing them live in the morning and then releasing a cut down version at the end of the day. So that's what we're doing this morning. We got another build roundup with 6 really awesome builds from the last week. So I think let's jump in and check them out. Let's see. First up, we have a build from Joe. And this is a fence that she built around her garden to keep deer out. And we can see it's a pretty standard enclosure that we see. Usually enclosures have 4 corners. You can see there's 90-degree connectors in the corners. It's a pretty large enclosure. But then she has, it looks like actually 90s kind of flipped over in the opposite orientation, kind of sideways, to add a pipe that runs along the top and then adds a vertical every few feet. And then she's kind of done that design all the way around. I also see see if we can see a better angle here. We can see some 45-degree braces at the top that connect it together. And then it looks like she added some wood paneling. I know she did something really cool with the gate. So we can see here she's got this wooden gate to the enclosure, and it looks like she added some kind of hook drilled into the wooden, the 2x4s here around the gate, and then she just hooks that onto the pipes, and then she can easily take it off, she said, which is a really clever way to do a gate. If you don't want to do a hinge and you want something that's just pretty simple, you just grab onto it, unhook it, and then set it off to the side, and that allows you to create a big gate like this. And then it looks like she just added the enclosure material around the outside. You can get specific deer fencing. You can get chicken wire, different things like that. And it works really well to add an enclosure. She did about halfway up just because she's trying to keep deer out. But again, if you're keeping out birds and other things like that, you'll probably want to do the whole enclosure. But that's a really awesome build from Joe. Looks great. Thanks so much for sharing that with us through email. It looks awesome. Next up is a build from Ken. And this is a octagon-shaped blueberry enclosure. We can see they've got a garden here, a blueberry bush here in this kind of circular garden bed, or kind of just a flower bed here. And because it's circular, you could do a square or rectangle enclosure, but they used 135-degree connectors going all the way around and created an octagon shape around the 2 blueberry bushes. And it looks really great. The silver 135s on the silver conduit, and creates a really cool structure. I don't know if we've seen anybody do an octagon yet, so this is really awesome to see from Ken. And then it looks like there's, I think in the middle, let's see how they did the top. Looks like there's T connectors attached to, I think, every side, and then they go to a middle, and I'm not sure how they connect in that middle hub. It almost looks like they stack. And maybe that the pipes stack on top of each other, and then there's a hole in the pipes and maybe a bolt run all the way through. We saw another build like that recently where somebody drilled through a pipe and then used a bolt through it to connect it together. And I think maybe that same kind of thing is done here. But it looks really great. The octagon looks awesome. And then it looks like there's just some of the green kind of mesh chicken wire that you can find at Lowe's or Home Depot. It looks like that is spread out around the outside. And because they're keeping out birds and not just deer, they got the whole thing enclosed. And to attach that, it looks like they use some of the fabric clips on top of the mesh and on top of the pipe to secure it in place. We've actually added those to the site recently in case you need to do something like this. And it looks really awesome. Here's the framework without the mesh and the netting. Oh, it looks like there's a vertical pole in the middle here in the flower bed, and then they go up, and I think there is a hole drilled through the pipes and then a bolt that goes through. Maybe there's a threaded pipe insert inside that center pole and then connects the 3 together. We've seen another build like that recently. I think we'll cover that one in next Monday's roundup, but that's a really smart way to do that. So it looks really great. Thanks so much, Ken, for sharing that. Glad you were able to make the enclosure. There's a comment on here that I love. It says, "True love is a $200 cage for $2 worth of blueberries," because he built this for his wife. Which is a great comment. That's true love. So awesome, Ken. Thanks so much for sharing that. Love seeing that in the community. Next up is a build from Photo Steven, and Steven actually shared a couple of builds in the past. One, we did an interview with him, and he showcased a Jeep Wrangler roof rack that he made that was really sweet, and it was a great interview. Definitely check that out. I'll add it to the description after the live stream, but that was a great interview. And then he's back again with another build, and he said this was inspired by the corner floor lamp. If you haven't seen the corner floor lamp, it's basically just like this, where it has a leg, kind of a V-shaped leg here, and there's just two pipes in a 90-degree connector, and then one tall vertical pipe. And then we just added some LED lights to that and made a lamp out of it. But what he's done is he's added a 90-degree connector up the verticals here. So you can't really see it behind the pot. You kind of see it there. But that allowed him to basically add another V shape here about halfway up, and then another one at the very top. Then he used T connectors to add kind of a hook, and he made kind of a diamond shape here that he can set the pots down in. He's got these potted plants, and they just kind of sit down in that, that kind of basket, or not basket, but that kind of diamond carrying, I don't know what to call this, but it's basically just the pots are resting on these pipes here. He did that all the way up, and it's just a really clever way to do it. There you can see the 90 that's holding up the pot. Really simple, just a few connectors. It looks like he painted the whole thing white. It looks great, and I could see, looks like there's some soil down there. I could also see this being useful for Halloween candy. You could put Halloween candy in one of these if you can set it outside on your front door. So there's an idea for Halloween. We're still a couple months away, but it'll be here before you know it. But that's a really great build from Steven. Really awesome to see, and appreciate you sharing that on Facebook. Really great build. Next up is a build from Michael, and this was left as a review on the T connector, and we appreciate the review. Left some good notes in here. Really appreciate the feedback and the review. And Michael built a armature, which is actually for Halloween. Maybe that's why I have Halloween on the brain. But he built this armature for a Halloween decoration. And we'll look at the frame again here in a second. But here is the armature. There he is. And we can go back and look. He shared a time lapse of the build where he shows how he built everything. And he did this in a smart way. He's actually got it looks like foam board that the decoration is cut out of. He's got that laying on the ground. He's already got some of the details sketched in place, so we can kind of see what it's going to look like all put together and how the decoration is supposed to look like. And then he's basically made his cuts and his connection points based on where they're going to line up on this foam board that he's already got set up. There's a good angle of it, which is a smart way to do it instead of just trying to measure the decoration, then go measure your pipes, and then, go back and forth doing that. He's just building it pretty much on top of the decoration, which will make it easier to kind of line up all of the connections and all of the cuts that he needs to make. But he shared this time lapse of him building it, and we can see that it's kind of angled in a way. We can see, maybe there's another wide shot here. It looks like it starts wider apart at the very top and then goes down. And he just did that, I think, just by using a longer pipe at the top between this cross pipe connection here, and then also just a smaller pipe down below it, which is a really simple way to do that kind of funnel shape that he did. But here, let's see. We'll go back, check out the time lapse. He's doing all kinds of connectors. There's T's, 45-degree connectors. See some adjustable, I think there's some adjustable angle connectors in there. No, maybe not. It looks like it's all T's. He's got these vertical pipes with the cross pipes going across, and there you can kind of see an overview of that kind of funnel shape I was talking about, where this pipe is longer and this one is shorter. And this gives it a nice narrow shape as it goes down. And then he's got 45-degree connectors to add the legs, and it looks like T's at the bottom to connect these very bottom pipes, and then another 45-degree brace on each leg, which is really great. And then you can see it out in the grass, and then he's attaching it to the framework here, or to the decoration. Oh, I think he's going to put it inside the foam. So you can see he lined it up. Yep, that's what he did. And then now he's cutting out, I guess he's routing the pipes inside the foam, which is a really smart way to do it. You can see that he just basically lined up the pipes on top of the foam and then used a Sharpie to kind of create the layout, or the kind of where the cuts need to be. And then now he's, routing it. And the pipes are just going to fit in there nicely. He's just fully tightening it and then putting it in there. And there it is, all finished. Looks awesome, really cool. That's going to be a great Halloween decoration. Like I said, Halloween's a couple months away, but you got to start sometime. And I think we've seen a lot of Christmas decorations and different things for Halloween. And we see a lot of times builders will start even all the way in the middle of summer and spring and earlier in the year. They'll plan out their whole display and everything all the way through the year. So really great build, Michael. Thanks so much for sharing that. Really look forward to seeing it. You should share an update whenever you get it out in the yard or wherever it's going to be for Halloween. We'd love to see it all set up. But thanks so much for sharing that on Facebook. Thanks for leaving that as a review on the site. Really appreciate it. Next up is a build from Mike, and this is a sea flea. If you've never seen one, I think I've seen one, but I'm not sure, but I can see why it's called a sea flea. It's just a kind of an interesting shaped boat that he has, and he wanted to make a trolley for it. We've seen a lot of carts for kayaks and different things that you can use to kind of haul everything to the water whenever you're using it, and that's what he's done here. He's created this trolley that the sea flea, it kind of matches the shape of the sea flea, and you can see he can just set it down on top of here and carry it out. And it's really simple. He's got an axle going from side to side connected with, looks like just the method that we see pretty often, which is a threaded rod or just a smooth rod going all the way through the pipe and then into the wheels. And then he's got T-connectors coming off of that axle, sending a pipe to the front using bent pipes here. And then looks like there's 90-degree connectors here. Actually, I think the 90-degree connector is just on this side, actually. And that bent pipe, there's also a bent pipe underneath that kind of goes up and connects to that 90. And there's another bent pipe here in the middle that goes up and just kind of creates a concave area that the sea flea can kind of rest down in. And then that allows him to easily haul the sea flea, which is a really smart way to do that. Then it looks like there is a handle going all the way out to the front. It's just a long vertical, or just a long pipe going all the way through, I think connected using a bolt here through to kind of hold it in place. And I think it's secured to the framework here with a 180-degree connector. And those two bent pipes that started at the T's kind of come up and end inside of this 180-degree connector. So it's a really great design. Looks awesome. Looks like it's working great. I guess there's a bent pipe here as well. So those aren't T connectors. Those are actually 90-degree connectors. These here, this one you can't, it's like the perfect angle to not see the other side of the 90. But it looks like there's a 90. One pipe goes up and up to this 180. And then one goes underneath and connects here to these middle connectors. So really great design, really great job building this, Mike. Looks awesome, and hope you have fun out on the water with the sea flea. Looks like it's a lot of fun. Next up is another Mike built an enclosure or a mini garage that he calls it for his motorcycle. You can see he's got it in a garage here, and he said he was using a cover, but he was tired of just messing with the cover all the time, and he wanted to use a no-touch cover. And the frame for those you have to kind of set up. It's kind of similar to this, except it's, I think, a lot more of a hassle to set up. So he wanted to build just a little miniature garage or enclosure that he could use for the motorcycle. And I love this American flag painting here. It looks really awesome. But in front of that, he's got the maker pipe frame. He's using, just a pretty simple box shape. So we've got, pipes laying on the ground here that go to the back, 90-degree connectors that connect this back pipe to kind of create the rectangle shape. We can notice on this side, he doesn't have the 90-degree connectors and this pipe going across because he needs to pull the motorcycle inside of it. So he's just using T connectors to go vertically, and then he's just basically building a rectangle at the top with 4 more 90-degree connectors, and then he added some bracing from there. We can see there's 45-degree bracing in this corner, same thing here, and then in the top he's doing a vertical angled brace that goes from this vertical pipe up to the horizontal. Same thing on this side, and then he did the same thing mirrored on the other side, and he's also done some more smaller 45-degree bracing, and then last but not least, he did some T connector bracing back and forth at the very top, and it just looks really great. There's his motorcycle inside. It's a beautiful bike, and here is the cover. He said he had an old car cover that he's basically spread out on top of the framework, and he's even got casters on the bottom. I didn't notice that. So he can roll the casters around, or roll the frame around if he wants to move it around his garage or out of the garage. But as you can see, he's got this car cover spread out over top of it. It zips up, looks really nice, and his bike is in there nice and secured and, staying clean inside the cover. So that's really awesome build. Thanks so much, Mike, for sharing that. Really, really awesome to see. And that is all the builds for MakerPipe 109. MakerPipe Monday 109. I can't believe we've already done 109 of these roundups, but it's really awesome. It's the best part of what we do, and we love being able to kind of sit down and see some awesome things that you guys are putting together every week. But if you want to check out any of the builds in more detail, they're linked down below in the description. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through email, phone call, or in the community. We're always here and happy to help. But everybody, hope you have a good week. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.